the gang called Gypsy. Gang and they come and get Gypsy. Gang and they come and get Gypsy. Gang. I met a Gypsy. Gang. I met a Gypsy.
People build their whole style on that. You know, like you look at a guy like Chael Sonnen, he will just say this shit that will, you know, I guess like get people to call him out or to say he's a fucking idiot. Say he
same with Gordon Ryan, really, I think.
100%.
I feel like Gordon Ryan does that, yeah.
Have you...
I mean, I guess the sad thing is it seems to work, right? Like, it, in terms of, it depends what you want, but like, you know, for Gordon Ryan, if he gains another, you know, 100,000 fans by acting a certain way, and loses 10,000, then like he might see that as a big plus, and he doesn't really care what people think apart from outside of his like close social group. You know, then that can be, you know, I think that's the same reason why people are going to trash talk in MMA and so on. Like it makes sense financially. Like I shouldn't, but I would much rather watch a fight that's like hyped up with people who are like, you know, talking crap to each other. I don't know why, but like for whatever reason, when I see that, I'm like, oh, I'm more excited about this fight than just turning on a UFC and watching two people fight like that. If there's no hype behind the fight, I don't get that excited about it for some reason.
Yeah. Do you think though, like with Gordon, do you think that he's made the sport better and more profitable? Like, let's say there's no Gordon Ryan. Do you think that ADCC was as big as it is this year? Do you think that there's the fight to wins that have the, you know, really good cards? Like, because I haven't been in the sport a super long time, only a few years, but I think it's visibly grown in front of me. And it's like, you have to say that Gordon Ryan is like the spearhead figure in the sport. And especially because he is so polarizing. And I think that now, like, people talking shit, like, that was the original problem that everyone had with Gordon, was like, he talks shit, he's disrespectful to the sport. And then now, like, those same people that were criticizing him back when I first got in the sport are all doing the exact same shit. And it seems like there's a lot of people that are, you know, like the super fights are getting more, these fight to win cards, who's number one. Like, it sort of seems like, unfortunately, or I mean, that's, I guess, my question. Is it unfortunate if a guy like that is actually doing something to grow the sport? Would you rather have the sport grow slower but with more like integrity, or it just grow, you know? Because at some point he's going to retire, and if he leaves the sport bigger than when he came in, he kind of did a good thing for the sport, right?
Yeah, I think, you could definitely make that argument. I don't know how
What's the counter argument
about that? Like, yeah, I mean, the counter argument is that, like, you know, do we want the sport to grow for the sake of just growing the sport? But on the other hand, having, you know, like, he's obviously there's young, impressionable people that think that the way Gordon Ryan acts is the way you should act. Especially he's online. It's actually much more mellow in person than he is online. He's like, you know, he's kind of quiet, doesn't seem to stir people up nearly as much in person as he does online. But like, I mean, I suppose, like, if everywhere, you know, let's just imagine that this isn't combat sports, which seems to have more of that than anything else. But let's imagine that's in every field, you know, like, no matter what you watch on TV or whatever, but if everyone's acting like that to everyone and that becomes the norm, I don't think that's a good thing. So having one area, like, you know, in an area like jiu-jitsu, if that is leaning us towards more acting like that, then I don't think that's overall necessarily a good thing. But I mean, is that outweighed by more people getting into jiu-jitsu? Maybe. I mean, it probably makes a lot of sense from a personal level for Gordon Ryan to build up his profile and, you know, sell more instructionals and get more money for his super fights and all that. Like, that absolutely makes sense from an individual level. I want jiu-jitsu to grow because it's awesome. Like, as in, like, I want more people to realize how good it is. But I don't necessarily think, like, I don't want more people to do jiu-jitsu for, just because, like, I only because I
Yeah.
think jiu-jitsu is a good thing. But if I thought overall jiu-jitsu started having a negative impact on people's lives and the way they acted and so on, if I thought that outweighed the positives of it, I would probably think I'd be less inclined to want more people, to want like
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu to become more widespread. But I mean, to be honest, I'm not like
It's a
overly
very
concerned either way.
hypothetical.
I think,
It's a very
yeah,
hypothetical
exactly.
question, but
Yeah. I mean,
it's.
I'm taking it to a very big extreme, saying like,
But I
he's
think
going to
that
influence the way that kids act. I don't. There might be no impact of that at all. It could act that way, and in the end, like most kids are going to just, like people that follow him aren't really going to change the way they act in there. I haven't looked at the research on how much someone's idol actually influences their behaviors, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think he has grown. I mean, I do think like that has grown the sport in terms of popularity. I think for whatever reason, like especially those shows like Fight to Win and so on, and why everyone's wanting to watch more no gi than gi at the moment, even though gi is probably more popular in terms of what's practiced in actual gyms. Everyone seems to want to watch no gi matches, and I think that's probably a big part due to the ADCC and Gordon's influence.